What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Run Pure Sports, bringing you once again the Strokes Gain Show. I'm here with my two main guys. We got Uncle T back, and Uncle T, I'll show you some love this week. You know, I had a bad week at PGA, so I got to bring the good mojo, show you some love. We'll start off with you. How was the U.S. Open? How did you fare last week?
Yeah, it was good. First off, good to be back on with you two guys. We're going to bring some winners to the people here tonight. We got obviously the week after a major where it's, we'll get into that a little bit, but week after the major, I'm always kind of a little bit let down until, I get through Monday into today on Tuesday, and then I start to get excited for the next week because, I just love golf so much. So, but as far as last week, it was going actually fairly well until my boy Bryson decided to forget how to play golf from 11 through 18 on Sunday. And I saw my winnings go from, a decent amount kind of dwindle down pretty quickly. So I did have a fallback. I did have a nice team without Bryson that had Oosthuizen, and then he didn't close the deal. So anyway, it was kind of very optimistic. You know what I mean? It was looking pretty solid. And then again, the collapse by Bryson, and then not that Louis collapsed, but obviously Rahm just, I would consider that clearly. Rahm just beat him the last couple of holes. Louis didn't lose it, but Louis, boy, he's not in the field this week, but talking to a couple members offline, and again, this guy's just been crushing. So another nice play from us on the shows last week, and but no, overall not the greatest week for me because of how it ended, but it's fun to again get a nice slate this week, and again try to find some winners for the people.
Yeah, it's going to be good to have you back too on the Tuesday show. We actually get to hear you talk, so that's going to be a good thing. And that's, it's hurtful because I benefit from your takes, Uncle T. And so it's I'm going to be taking my notes while we're doing the show. But yeah, Hoop, how was your week last week? I know you guys were at the lake, had a good time. I was at the pool all Sunday after we got content up. And at the pool that we go to, a ton of TVs and stuff. It was just watching golf, having a good time. It was a lot of fun. But how was your week? How was the U.S. Open?
Yeah, I mean, being with BigT last week, the good mojo rubbed off in the MLB streets. Had a good MLB week with BigT. The good mojo did not rub off in the PGA streets. It was not a good week, despite being way over the field on Rahm. I mean, every contest I was in, I was way over on Rahm. It didn't matter though. I mean, just too many guys, too many of my key guys missing the cut. And then, a guy like Charlie Hoffman, he might've gone negative on the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday. I mean, Hoffman made the cut, but I literally, Uncle T might know, I don't think he gained many fantasy points on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, he was one of the worst players in the field. So it was not a good week for me. We were on the guys up top that the guys we kind of thought had a chance to win, and we pinpointed during the show were there. Unfortunately, though, too many 4 out of 6s for me, and even 3 out of 6s. A lot of key guys just missed a cut. But we bounced back this week, and I actually kind of like this field. I wasn't sure what we'd get after the U.S. Open, but we have some names at the top. We have some of our cheapies back in play here this week, so I'm looking forward to this event.
Yeah, I am too. And I had to switch it up a little bit this week, guys. I got myself, so I used to be a big Moscow Mule guy. I got myself a mule. I had to switch it up from whiskey because I got completely swept last week. I returned $0. I had 70% Max Homa, who, he was charging, he was battling until he pissed down his leg on the back and missed the cut. And I had 40% Tony Finau, who I have no words for Tony Finau. He's in this field, and I don't even want to talk about him this week, guys. He's pissing me off. I'm not a fan.
Gotta give Snyder credit, man. Our boy Snyder called the fade. Yeah. Snyder was off him.
So I made a lot of bad. I ended up fading Louis. I made a lot of bad moves that I don't normally make. So it is what it is. I still stand by the Homa. Going heavy on him. He doesn't have a good major record. I figured back in his home state, a place he's played very well at, That was his chance, and obviously it wasn't. He's not ready for the big stage yet. Is what it is. We got a new week. Always next week, as we often say in chat. However, we did have a lot of members that won a ton of money, and let's go quickly to our segment #members never win, which they do all the time. Huge shout out to Record 62. He took down the Millie, and Big T was texting us, and he said, well, if since he had that Millie sweat, I thought he was going to win it again. He was right there, up there, close. He did say if it wasn't him, at least it was this guy. A member, shipped the Millie, had a phenomenal week, phenomenal build as well. One other thing too, guys, I might be wrong on this, but I think I'm right. Did the actual Millie winner of like the $10 150 max didn't have John Rahm? Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I
correct.
thought that was kind of an incredible thing. Which you don't always need the winner. Birdies, scoring, obviously is priority. Getting as many guys as you can in the top 10, top 5. That obviously is going to weigh a lot higher than sometimes having the winner, but obviously you want to get the winner right too. So
Yeah,
we also had a bunch of other members win this week. Shout out to go ahead, Uncle T.
Before you go on, sorry to interrupt, but while you were talking about that, I think because I was talking to Big T and some other people about that very thing with Rahm not being in the winner of the smaller one, and I think that was more or less a direct correlation to not having many of the higher guys. There wasn't anybody over 10K that missed the cut, right? They all got through. Almost all of the 9K got through. So a lot of the big name golfers at least made the cut and were on that high on the leaderboard. So that's why I think Rahm, someone was able to win that without Rahm, because I think they were able to have such a good combination of players. You see what I'm getting at? That didn't miss the cut. So I think that was a direct correlation to why that happened. So
the only thing I feel good about is, so I had a golf event myself on Wednesday, and it was like 98 degrees here to 100 degrees. And so we were just slamming the cervezas like all day, pounding them and pounding. And I guess I was going around telling everyone John Rahm was going to win. And one guy ended up putting $500 on him to win. Odds weren't that good, but obviously if you're putting some decent money down, you're going to get some cash in return. So, that was like the bulk of my week. And I had Rahm 40%, but it did not matter when you have Max Homa and Tony Finau at 40% and 70%. So is what it is. We are moving on to this week. We are at the Travelers TPC River Highland, a great event, a stacked field, like Hoop said to begin the show. And it's a Pete Dye track. Instead of me going into the course, Uncle T, break it down for us. How do you think this is going to play this week?
Yeah, again, we're going to see this week, guys, a complete different course than we saw last week for sure. Last week, obviously, it's one of the longer courses played. One of the rounds, I think, 7,700 plus yards. This course, a complete opposite. It's one of the shorter courses they're going to play. It's only not even 6,900 yards. It's a par 70. So we're only going to have 2 par 5s. We'll obviously have the extra 2 par 4s. So that will bring in, obviously, maybe the par 4 scoring, and guys that do it, a little bit better on the par 4 scoring into play more than normal. Even having less par 5s on this course, again, it's short. Fairways are fairly easy to hit. It usually turns into a wedge fest here. So strokes gained approach and getting them irons close for your birdies is a key here. But you can go low. We're going to get into it a little bit here, but Cantlay 10 years ago, I know it's been a while, but as an amateur shot a 60 here. And usually the winning score is in the high teens and maybe up to 20 under par. So if the weather, I think Thursday and Friday, the weather is supposed to be, reading Coop's article earlier in the day, I think Thursday and Friday, the weather is going to be pretty solid, pretty nicely, both ways. I think he said there could be possibly a little bit of wind on Saturday, but again, that all obviously changes throughout the week. So I think we're going to have a pretty good weather week there. But as far as the course itself, again, it's very short. There is some water, especially off the tee. So, you'll want to kind of, make sure you don't hit those water hazards or anything. But again, strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained approach will be where I'm going to go here this week. And, like I said, I think we're going to see some birdies. It's going to be completely different than last week. And I'm anxious to see what you guys think about the course.
Yeah, great breakdown of the course. I agree with you on a lot of that. I do think off the tee is important here. I think distance is important. At the same time, I do see it as kind of a second shot course, which brings some of the shorter hitters into play. So like when I think about roster construction, I'm going to have a combination of bombers and a few short hitters. We've seen Brendan Steele do very well here. Ches Reavie won here 2 years ago. Ches is starting to trend in the right direction too. He was my notebook play last week. I'm going to be right back on him, and I'd be an idiot not to be this week. So, at a place he won. But let's kick it over to my guy, Hoop. Hoop, break down the 10K and up range for us.
Yeah. Before I dive in, the way I'm kind of viewing this course, and I'm no expert about this course, but this is my take on it. If you're long off the tee, you're going to have an advantage. But if you're not long off the tee, you need to be accurate. So I'm kind of looking for guys that bomb it off the tee. If they don't bomb it, I want guys that can hit the fairway. Is that the right way to kind of view this one, Uncle T?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just to put a kind of a bow on all three of our comments is, if you look at the types of guys that have won at this track, you got Bubba Watson, who is one of the longer hitters, right? He's won it 3 times. And then you got like AP mentioned, Reavie's won it. I think Streelman's won it. Stuart Sink has won it. So I do think it's a combination of those. So yeah, it's a good point.
I mean, Streel Daddy was right there at the end, guys. DJ ran away from the field, but Streel Daddy was right there at the end. So, yeah.
All right. I'll go ahead and hop into this. So at the top, you have Dustin Johnson, and I didn't end up playing him last week. It worked out well. He was hovering around top 10. And then, for the second week in a row, is looking like he was going to have a solid week. And I believe he had that big triple, I think, at the end of this round. Same thing happened the week before at the Palmetto, 11-4. You're paying the full Monty for him. To me, he's getting closer, but there's other guys that I don't want to go all the way to the top here and pay 11-4 for Dustin Johnson. It's something I haven't really been playing him all that much. I don't think I'm going to do it here. $300 cheaper, you have Bryson. And Bryson, what happened last week was pretty wild. It was looking like he was going to be there at the end. Big T was in line basically to win another $1 million. I don't know the exact ins and outs, and I know there's a lot of fluctuations at the end, but if Bryson wins this event, I'm assuming Big T wins his second Millie Maker, and that might not have been what played out, but he probably was the favorite to win that Millie Maker if Bryson finishes it off and he goes bogey, double, par, and then a triple, a quadruple, and it was weird. He hit into the rough, hit it off the side of his club across. It was literally a disaster hole. Now, the way I look at this with Bryson is, it's hard to say, let's just throw that out, but let's look at it a different way. If Bryson finishes off that US Open and wins it this week, he is probably 6 to 7 to 1 to win this event. He's probably 7 to 1 to win this event. And his price on DraftKings is probably 11.6. He'd be the massive favorite, and he'd be massively, he'd be the massive favorite and he'd be the highest owned guy or highest price guy on the slate. Now, do you think what happened on hole, I don't even know what hole it was on 14 or something. Do you think that plays into how he plays this week? For me, no. So I kind of view Bryson as a discount this week. I'd much rather play him over Dustin Johnson. He's played very well at this course in the past. I know a lot of people at Run Pure Sports continue to make the case for Bryson. And I truly believe there is a reason for it. When his game is on, he has the ability to dust a field. There's not many guys that you can say each week he tees it up. He has the ability to dust the field. He's played well here. Length off the tee, I think, is something that he can use to his benefit. The one thing that does concern me, though, is we talk about it, these wedges and short irons. He's a disaster with them. He is an absolute disaster. If he's just average in the field, if he's just an average wedge guy, average short iron guy, he's the best golfer in the world. He cannot figure out that part of his game. So that's the one thing that kind of concerns me. If he's good with his short wedges or his wedges and short irons this week, I think he wins. Is he going to be that guy? We haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know. But the potential is there. I definitely like Bryson. Koepka, I mean, I'm just not playing him in these, these sort of events. I mean, if he gets off to a hot start, then yes, he's gonna go for it. Any little issue he has, he just kind of gives up at these events. He doesn't really care. He said he doesn't care about these events. Could he win this? Yes. Would I be shocked if he won? No. But I'm not playing him at 10-7. I will be on Cantlay. I mean, I've been on Cantlay the last few weeks. He's definitely rounding a corner. Obviously won at the Memorial. I mean, I guess, Rahm to me won at the Memorial, but I guess, technically Cantlay won 10-4. And then last week he was solid. I mean, he was just solid every round. Had the 75 round too, but, was enough to make the cut. 71, 69 on the weekend. Again, a guy that's played really well at this course. I'm definitely going to be on Cantlay. And I mean, you guys know the story with Patrick Reed. I don't need to go there. So up top for me, it's going to be Bryson and Cantlay. Like those guys quite a bit.
Yeah, very, very good breakdown, Hoop. I agree with you quite a bit on a lot of that. And, with Bryson, I got to just make one comment. There's a huge difference between Bryson and Brooks. Brooks, I am all in on majors. I don't care. He is fired up, ready to go. Non-majors, I don't know. I mean, especially right after a major, I'm off the guy. It is what it is. Bryson, I think he just wants to go out and win. And I think when people are in the crowd yelling, attaboy, Brooksy, I think that's just motivation for him. So I love those takes. I agree with you quite a bit. Uncle T, let me kick it over to you. What are you doing with the 10K and up range this week?
Yeah, it's great breakdown by Hoop of this top 10K or 10K and above range, I should say. DJ, starting with him, similar take, not to get, the same take as Hoop, but he brings up great points. You're paying the full freight, 11-4 for a guy that hasn't won, in quite a while. So again, he finished T19 last week and he didn't play poorly at all. He did have that one triple on Sunday that knocked him back definitely some spots on the leaderboard, but he's the defending champ, so you guys know how generally I feel about that the next year. I typically don't try to target them, especially if he's the highest priced golfer in the field. So I think it's a fairly easy fade for me on DJ. Bryson, again, talking about the Brooksy thing and them calling him out, I think they had a couple interviews this week, and he's taken that stuff so much in stride. I know, Schneider and Bobby Gomes like to give him a hard time and so forth. He's taken that stuff in stride so nicely. These interviews, he can't say the nicer things. He has totally taken the high road with this whole thing. Now, is he kind of stirring it up a little bit with him with these interviews behind Brooks' back, and doing things? Yes, but he has really taken the high road. And he said, hey, it's a compliment. He's got more majors than me. I take it as a compliment that they say that. But that being said, I did listen to his post Sunday interview after the round, and he didn't look at it as a meltdown at all. And he's still thinking positive that in trying to build off of what he did the first, 64 holes of that golf tournament. So for me, I am going to go back to Bryson. Again, he's got 3 straight top 10s here, and he's coming in arguably, even though he hasn't won in a while, but he's a totally different golfer, I think, this year, even than he was a year ago today. So I am going to go back to Bryson. He missed his cut here in his debut in 2015, but since then, again, 5 straight made cuts, 3 straight top 10s. I will go back to Bryson. Brooks is an easy fade for the reasons you guys mentioned. I won't go over them. Patrick Cantlay is a guy that I have been off. I have not been on him the last 3 weeks when he started to turn the corner. I am ready to buy back in on Patrick Cantlay. I think 10-4 in this field, that is a pretty good field, especially a week after a major. But I am ready to buy back in on Patrick Cantlay. He had one really bad putting round last week and kind of went back to what he was doing, previous to this nice, uptick in his golf play. And it kind of got me worried, but I think it was hopefully a blip in the radar. I think his putting has gotten better. So I am going to be in on Cantlay and Bryson. And Patrick Reed, I like to play him here and there. I had a little bit of him last week, but at this course where, he has decent success, but I just feel like he's a little bit overpriced, and I like too many of these guys below him. So I'm out on Patrick Reed.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I personally feel that this range, we have some easy fades and some easy guys to lock in. You guys, said it perfectly. I'm off. I'm pretty sure I'm off DJ. I'm definitely off Brooks. I love Brooks, but I'm going to be off him, and I'm definitely off Patrick Reed. I love Bryson. I have two guys that I might be like very overweight on that have actually been paired together quite often, and I could see them being paired at a course like this, that they just bomb and have little wedges into these greens and make scoring easy. Bryson's one of those guys. If you follow golf, you probably know who the other guy is. Then Patrick Cantlay obviously shot a 60 here as an amateur. Game is trending in the right direction. He does typically play better on the West Coast. So if you like narratives, West Coast, East Coast narrative, you'd be off of him. But this course just fits his game. It's a par 70, not long. He's great off the tee right now. His off the tee game is phenomenal. His approach game is phenomenal. The putter is starting to heat up. I'm looking at my last 24 round trend graph that I always look at. And, if you're like me, a market guy, it's trending like this. So his putter is, getting hot right now. That's what we want to see when we're looking at, the rolling last 24 rounds. So I'm on those two guys, Bryson 1, Cantlay 2 for me. Hoop, did you kind of have a 1 and 2 in this range?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be, Cantlay, Bryson, no preference one way or the other. Really like both.
Yeah. Uncle T, you then take us into the 9K range.
Yeah, similar. I got Cantlay and Bryson definitely 1 and 2. Because of what we're going to talk about here in the 9K range, if I had to just go 1 in the 10K range, which I may have on some builds because I do like some of these other guys, I may cut Cantlay out of having a lot of Cantlay, but Bryson I'll definitely be in on for sure. The 9K range is interesting because you got a lot of interesting guys here. You got Paul Casey at 9,900, just elite course history here. You just can't overlook the fact that he has played well here. And if you think about his golf game, you could see why he plays good here. You know what I mean? He just plods along. He doesn't do anything to thrill you. He's going to hit the fairways. He's going to hit greens, and he's going to make, and he can get hot at the putter at times. So the course itself, it's not too long. He's not one of the longer hitters. So I could see, again, he finds fairways. He's going to be a great course fit here. He is going to be probably one of the higher owned guys in the entire field, in my opinion. I'm seeing somewhere 23 or 24% right now. Again, I know we don't like to talk about that as a whole, but I do think that is something to mention here. Scotty Scheffler, hey, I'm going to come on and take my L here. I know not on the show anyway, on the Tuesday or Wednesday. I know on the side I DM'd Hoop and told him I didn't like Scheffler as much last week. And it wasn't anything other than I just didn't think it was exactly the best course for him. Scheffler proved me wrong. So I want to apologize to Hoop for giving him, I don't know if he got off of him totally, but hey.
I still played him. I played him a little bit, not a ton. Right? I mean, but yeah.
You didn't listen to Uncle T. That's smart.
No, I usually do. I usually listen to Uncle T. I didn't play him a ton. I mean, it wasn't like a difference maker one way or the other. So
yeah, but I like this guy this week. Again, he's just a good golfer. I mean, his last 5 majors, he's got T4, T19, T18, T8, and T7. So the last 5 majors, he's been inside the top 18. Does that help us this week? We don't know. I'm just saying that the guy can play golf. His win is coming. It could be this week. Stay tuned later in the show. We'll see. Streelman, we talked about Streel Daddy. So this is the interesting one that I'm going to definitely rely on your all's take on Streelman this week, because here you got a couple things. He's playing some of the best golf that he's played in a long time, maybe ever. He's coming to a course where he has some of the best course history outside of Bubba Watson, but he gets that elevated price tag at 9,400. So I just don't – I'm kind of wavering big time on Streelman because I like him. I think he's a great play, obviously a great course fit, but I just don't know – I don't know where I'm going to fall on Streelman. Matthew Wolff, I was kind of, talking to Big T at lunch today. He was upset he didn't play him last week. I had no intentions of playing him last week, and it was probably wrong for me to X him out of my pool completely.
That's all. By the way, that's all I heard about from Big T for 3 straight days. How big of a donkey he was for not playing Matty Wolff. He beat himself. You guys
want to know something funny? Yeah. So like I do the George Gankis. Like he has a website, georgegankis.com, and he's like one of the best at responding to you if you remember at his site. And so I sent him a message on Instagram, I asked him, hey,
The Pistons just
how's
got the #1 pick, baby. We're coming back. We're making a comeback.
Oh, Pistons
Sorry.
did?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, on Wednesday morning, I woke up, I had an hour and a half until lock, and I'm in Discord talking to these guys, and Genkus he left me a voice note, and he's just like, hey Andrew, thanks for the messages, whatever. He's like, yeah, Wolfie, he's gotten in a ton of practice sessions. He's absolutely striping it. You're going to see him gain a ton of strokes off the tee this week. How he's going to finish, I don't know. It's his first event back. Like, dude, Wolfie, I think he's back. I think he's a phenomenal play this week. He looked good last week. He gained like 6.5 strokes off the tee. So I'm with you on that. I should have tinkered. I should have got more of him. And I think he looks good. But didn't mean to interrupt Uncle T, but continue on.
No, it's good. Like I said, I think last week we kind of could have looked at him a little bit differently, especially because he was $7,200 last week. And again, because I like Casey. I already mentioned Scheffler. I'm going to wait to get your all's take on Streelman. I can't play all these guys. I'm actually going to be out on Wolf this week, but not because, again, he could be a good play, but you got the $2,200 increase in his price just from 1 week of being back. I want to take maybe more of a wait and see approach on him, but I do like him. Hopefully he's come back as a different player after that long layoff. Finau, I'm just not doing it. I'm pretty sure you guys are in agreement, but I just can't do it at this point. I have to see him not necessarily win because he hasn't done it, but he has to do a little bit better than he has. I can't keep paying, mid to low 9Ks for a guy that is just not in good form. So out on Finau. Now, Answer is the one that I'm going to be back in on. And if you would have seen me on Friday around the cut sweat, I was with my boys. It was my oldest's birthday. We're at the place eating, and I'm sweating Answer on my main team. I've got 5 through the cut, and I'm waiting on Answer. He gets within 1 stroke of making the cut. I believe it was on 15, and then he went bogey, par bogey or something to miss the cut. So, but when I go back and look at again, this course history, he's missed the last 2 cuts. Maybe his ownership stays down a little bit, but he does. He sets up nicely here. He hits the ball in the fairway. He hits greens. And again, he was chalk last week, but I still think he's a good course fit. So I do like Answer, and I'm not going to play Neiman because I just can't play all these guys. So, that's kind of my breakdown. No Neiman for me, though, at 9K.
Yeah, I can't wait because I'm going to sell you on Wolf, but I'm going to send it to Hoop first. Hoop, what are you doing with this stacked 9K range this week?
Yeah, it's a loaded range, and it's tough because they really didn't give you any breaks in the pricing, which I like. You got to make some tough decisions. At the majors, we get the soft pricing. You can pretty much play whoever the hell you want. This week is a little bit different. Some of these guys, they got up there, and they're in ranges where we typically do not see them. I mean, Paul Casey at the top at 9.9. Phenomenal course history here, phenomenal course fit, phenomenal recent form. I mean, 21st, 4th, 6th in the Euro event, 7th at US Open. He's playing awesome golf. He's a tough fade. I want to be on Paul Casey. Scheffler, it's tough. I just know I can't play all these guys. I would love to play Scotty Scheffler here. Can I get over the field on Casey and Scheffler? I don't know if I can. So I don't know if I can be on Scheffler. I mean, I don't want to just play Scheffler 10% or something. I just don't think that does anything for you. And then the guy right behind him, Kevin Streelman. I mean, Kevin Streelman is playing amazing golf, and he's played amazing golf at this course. The obvious drawback on Kevin Streelman is you're paying a price tag that you've never paid for Kevin Streelman ever in DFS, 9.4K. And he is, let's see, he's been top 26 in 5 straight events, which includes 2 majors. Can he go out here and get 15th and not kill you? I think so. I'm going to have to take my chances. I think that Kevin Streelman doesn't go out here and finish like top 5 or something. I probably have to just take my chances on that. Could he do it? Yeah, maybe. But even Kevin Streelman, when he's playing great golf and he's playing on a course where he's played well, I think he's still just a top 20 guy. Could prove me wrong, but I'm willing to take my chances there. Matty Wolf, AP, I know this is your boy and everything, but last week was cute. At the US Open, came out firing on all cylinders, had the big, birdie fest to start the round, great in round 2. But I'm with Uncle T. I gotta see a little bit more. I gotta see it for one more week before I'm gonna pay 9-3. Just think, okay. Matt Wolf comes back to the US Open last week, misses the cut. This week, Matt Wolf is $6,800 maybe. Like he would be like nothing. His price would be so tiny. He played well for 1 week. It was at the US Open. That's awesome. But man, I think I got to see more before I pay the 9-3. Tony Finau, fuck Finau. I just don't even know how else to say it. Like he was my favorite guy for so many years in DFS. He was literally my favorite dude to roster. Fuck him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to play his ass. I'm with Snyder.
Hey, before you go on, you just casted a prop because it was who was going to drop the first F-bomb. I didn't do it intentionally because I wanted you to. So you just want a prop for somebody who was going to drop the first F-bomb on the show.
There you go. Cleared the way. Now the F-bombs can we can fire away at the F-bombs.
That's awesome.
Answer, I do like Answer. I've been playing a lot of Answer. I played him last week. He's one of the guys that hurt me a ton last week. I had a ton of him. It was painful. But from the sounds of it, it was more his around the green stuff that really hurt him, and he's typically a good guy around. Some of those lies that you could get right outside that green. Those were some tough looking shots. So I'm gonna give him the pass. I'll be back on Finau at 9-1, and then Neiman. I'm a Neiman guy. I think this is a good track for him, and at 9K, I think I'm going to go back to him a little bit. So there's some good guys in this range, and I think this is where, when you're building your teams, this is where the toughest decisions come into play in this 9K range.
Yeah, guys. I might have to start with Matt Wolf. So here's kind of what I think. So when Matt Wolf, became a PGA Tour pro, his debut was at this course. He made the cut and then didn't do very well. A year later, when he played it again, he was kind of on a rough stretch and he missed the cut. And then obviously he came back the next week and got a second at the Rocket Mortgage, and then went on a little run. Here's the thing. I think this guy is going to continue to be a volatile guy. I think you have to get in on him early, and get that high finish, that high upside that he has, and then move off. And so for me, like, you guys make good points. Hoop makes a phenomenal point. The one about if he would have missed the cut at the US Open, no one's playing him. He's priced in the 7K range again. So like, as a tournament player, and I'm targeting like that $8 100K, I like that they priced him up in this range. I think he's going to be 3%, 4%, maybe 5% owned. I'm going to get a ton of leverage on the field with him. Look, I see a few things that I really like this week, okay? He gained 6 strokes off the tee last week. That's huge, especially at this place. He was hitting fairways. He was absolutely bombing the ball. It's going to give him a huge advantage on a lot of these par 4s that are very short. I think the birdie opportunities that he's going to have this week is massive. He lost all of his strokes around the green, which has been a struggle. But, man, around the green at Torrey Pines last week was brutal. Like, you can't fault anyone for losing an insane amount of strokes around the green. His putter was on, and his putter has always been something that's been fairly strong for him. And so what I like to see, since the putter is something that usually we can rely on, I love to see what he's doing off the tee. I think if he gets off the tee with the distance that he has this week, he's going to put himself in prime position. He's always been good on approach. His irons are good. If you go back and look, he has a few stretches that are pretty rough. But of late, his irons have been solid. They were solid last week. I love Matt Wolf. I think he has an incredible amount of win upside in this range, especially versus guys like Streelman. Streelman, like right above him. When's the last time Kevin Streelman's won? Now, I love Streel Daddy. He's a big play, a big guy of ours. But again, I think a low on Matt Wolf is a phenomenal tournament play this week. And I'm going to be very high on him because I'm just, it's a tournament he struggled with. I mean, when people go and they click on that tournament history and they see T80 and a missed cut, No, and then 9.3K, no one's going to play him. But there's context to that. His first PGA Tour event was here, and you can't blame someone in their their debut for not doing very good, even though he won the week after, I believe. And so I'm going to be very high on him. I think this is going to be another situation where maybe we see Bryson and Matt Wolff in the final pairing. We've seen it twice before already. I definitely think we could see it here again today, this week. Then I agree with you guys. So we disagree on Matt Wolff, but I agree with everything else. I'm very high on Abe Answer, very high Paul Casey. Streelman's kind of tough, but man, like the history he has here, he's playing very good. If you take away the name and if you look at everything else, I think he's a good play. So that's maybe the route to go with a guy like Kevin Streelman. But for me, I'm going Matt Wolff 1, and I'm going Abe Answer 2. Uncle T, what's your 1 and 2 in this range?
Yeah, I'm going Paul Casey number 1, and I'm going Abe Answer number 2.
Who? 1 and 2, and then take us into the 8K range.
Riding with Uncle T, same 1, 2. I mean, Casey and Answer, it's pretty clear to me. I love those two. Now we go to the 8K range, and it starts out with a guy that has really good course history here. Has won here 3 times. Bubba Watson, 8.9K. Bubba's one of these guys that typically plays well at certain tracks, and this is a track where he's had a lot of success. Don't know what I'm going to do with Bubba yet. Curious to see what you guys have to say on him. Brian Harman is a guy I absolutely love, 8.8K. I mean, he's just people won't like to or refuse to kind of admit this, but he's been one of the best golfers on the PGA Tour, regardless of the course, regardless of the course fit. He's been absolutely phenomenal outside of the PGA Championship where he missed the cut. Outside of that missed cut, he's been top 20 in 6 out of 7 events. I mean, there's not many guys on tour that can beat that. Give me some Brian Harman. Cam Smith, he hasn't been playing all that well. I mean, I've played him a little bit earlier on in the season, missed cut at the Memorial, missed cut at the US Open. Those are 2 pretty loaded events. Maybe he bounces back. Probably won't be playing Cam Smith. Charlie Hoffman, continues to make cuts. I mean, he was on a nice little run there of top 20s. The last 2 events, Memorial and US Open, 57th. Like I said, he was awful over the weekend at the US Open. I think one of the worst guys on the weekend. He shot a 75, 76, finished 10 over, kind of went backwards on the weekend in terms of fantasy points. I'm going to be on Hoffman. I think, this sort of course, this sort of event is better suited for him. Siwoo Kim's one of these Pete Dye guys where he plays well in Pete Dye courses. Paying the premium, though, 8.5K. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do with Siwoo Kim, another guy that I'm curious to see what you guys have to say on. Justin Rose, I just haven't been playing Justin Rose. I know a lot of people made the case for Rose last week. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, he was good at the Masters, but it was all putting, man. I remember just making all these putts, no thanks on Rose. Henley, was right there going into Sunday and kind of fell apart. Does he have a little hangover here? I don't know. I like Harris English right behind him a lot more. So I'm going to be I'll be on Harris English. Adam Scott is another guy that I have some interest in at 8K. Didn't really do anything special at the US Open, but he made the cut, 35th. I think he's a fine play. I mean, I think he's better than a lot of guys above him, so I'll put it that way. But a lot of guys here in this range, still deciding on some. Curious, like I said, to get your guys' take here.
Yeah, I think relative to the 9K range for me, I'm going to be a little bit more underweight on this range. But, so I actually kind of agree with you on quite a few of these takes. Uncle T, what are you doing with the 8K range this week?
Yeah, similar range as far as it's a little bit thin for me because, again, I do like the ones we mentioned a little bit earlier in the 9K range. So, you can't take 3 or 4 guys in each range, So, Bubba Watson, I think, is going to be a fade for me, and it might be a tough fade. Obviously, you got the course history. Maybe people will gravitate towards that and click the name, and, hey, he's probably clearly going to make the cut, and maybe a high finish. The last couple of trips here haven't been as good as when he won it 3 out of 4 years, I believe it was, or something like that. So I'm probably going to fade Bubba, and I couldn't fault you for playing him for the reasons, again, the course history, but he just hasn't played as great the last month, and I'm just going to go more on trying to fade Bubba Watson this week. Brian Harman, I'm just going to be in on. I think I may be in on Brian Harman on most weeks going forward until he starts a downtick in his golf play. I've been on him a lot, but the weeks I haven't been on him, I've tried to come on this show and on the Wednesday show during majors, and I've tried to at times make a case against Brian Harman, and I've just been wrong. You know what I mean? I'm making a case on some of these courses. Like last week, I didn't think the course was a great fit. I didn't think at the PGA it was the greatest fit. But the guy just keeps churning out cuts. He keeps churning out top 15 or 20 finishes. So again, I've been on him a lot. It hasn't been like I haven't, but I feel like I'm going to take the L because I haven't been on him, you know what I mean, every week like everybody else. So I'm not late to the party with Harman. I've played him, and I'm just going to start playing him. So until he does me wrong, he's got 7 top 20 finishes since the Players Championship, which was only 3 months ago. So 7 top 20 since the Players. I'm going to buy in and just play this guy. Cam Smith, I agree with Hoop, just hasn't shown the form the last 4 weeks. He's a guy that can get hot and he's streaky. Right now, he's not playing as good a golf, so I'm going to be out on him. I'm probably going to be out on Charlie Hoffman too. I don't know. He just, again, he kind of let us down over the weekend, and maybe it's a little bit of recency bias in a negative way for me. I had him on Saturday and Sunday, and he didn't, kind of let me down. I'd probably rather prefer to go down to Siwoo Kim, who I don't play often, but quote unquote, as Coop says, he is a Pete Dye guy, and he finished 40th and then 9th the last couple of weeks. He's got decent course history here. I'd be more willing to buy in on him than probably Hoffman and even Rose down below. I don't like Rose this week. He was a guy that I had a sprinkle of last week in that range last week, and he did let me down. So I'll be out on Rose. I agree with you on Harris English. Henley played well last week as well. Harris English T3 last week. Doesn't have the greatest course history. So if you're looking at, in this range, you're looking at Bubba, great course history. You go down below from Bubba, 8,900 down to 8,200 English, you get a $700 discount on a guy that doesn't have the greatest course history, but is coming in playing pretty good golf. So I kind of like the English side of that and maybe take my chances on. Now, he could be pretty popular too, Harris English. So we got to kind of keep an eye on that. And Adam Scott, I agree with you. I think he's got one missed cut, and that was at the PGA in this calendar year. So he missed the cut at the PGA, has made every cut other than that. So I don't have any problem. I mean, he doesn't have an elevated price tag. I mean, Adam Scott at $8K hasn't played this course that I can see, at least in the last 5 years. So that's a little bit interesting to me that, you know what I mean? Maybe is he not playing here because it's not the greatest course fit for him, or is he coming here because he just wants to keep playing golf because he's in a nice stretch of made cuts and playing some solid golf? So that's kind of how I break down the 8K range.
Yeah, the interesting thing, like Russell Henley, that last, he had like a 3-foot putt. It was massive. It was a 100K pay difference, and it's a top 10 in a major, which is huge point wise. So that I think there's going to be a lot on his mind heading into this event. Like, I just think, 100K in winnings and just the points, top 10 in a major, and even more than that, he was right there in the final pairing. So I think that's a really sharp call with going Harris English over Henley. I agree with you guys. I'm outside of Brian Harman. I'm fading almost this entire range and Harris English. I honestly think I'm going to X out all these guys. Bubba, I'm not going to play. Cam Smith, I'm not play. Hoffman, I think, guys, I think it's we sell high. We rode Hoffman as much as we could. He's an older guy. Look, Hoffman too, legit was so excited about playing at the U.S. Open. Torrey Pines is a place he knows. You got to think T57 with how good he's been playing, with Phil coming off a win, an old guy doing it. You got to think he's probably pretty disappointed with how he played last week. So I just, he's going to be 15 to 18%. He pop, I'm looking at his stats right now. He pops in everything, but I'm not feeling it. I think that there is some shakiness to his game. So I think I'm going to be off of him. And I think Siwoo, a guy I don't play, but man, he looks good. All the stuff I'm looking at that I want, and the whatever the factor, the Pete Dye factor, I'll hop on board. So I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna say Siwoo. I'm gonna say Brian Harmon and Siwoo for me, and a sprinkle of Harris English. Those are kind of my 1, 2, 2.5. Hoop, what were your 1 and 2 in this range?
I like Harris English a lot. He's a guy that I'm going to be on. And then Brian Harmon, to me, I think he could really be in the 9K range, and I'd still have interest in him. So English and Harmon.
Yeah, all right. Think about it. Ches Reavie won here. Brian Harmon has to be licking his chops. And it's the opposite thing. T19. If I'm Brian Harmon, I'm like, dude, I'm hanging with these guys. I need to get a win to get more recognition. And so I think it would be foolish to fade a guy like Brian Harmon this week. Uncle T, you're 1 and 2, and then take us into the 7K range.
Yeah, 1 and 2 similar. I got Brian Harmon 1 in English 2, but I will have a third. If I had a third guy in there, it would be will be Siwoo Kim. And then as we go into the 7K range again, like normal, there's a ton of golfers. We got maybe 30 golfers in this range. So maybe I'll go. If you want, I'll go from 7,500 up real quick, and then we can go to the bottom. But at the top, Keegan Bradley, he's coming off not qualifying for the U.S. Open, had been playing some pretty good golf, missed the cut prior to what did he miss the cut at? That was at
Memorial.
The Memorial. Yeah. So, but prior to that, was playing some really, really good golf for Keegan Bradley. This is a home game pretty much for him up in the Northeast. He had made 9 straight cuts at this event before missing the cut last week. But again, I just feel like, he's rested, not playing last week. I really like Keegan Bradley at 7,900. And if you look at, I know we're going to go on live with JJ and the boys after this show for more of the bet side with some matchups and things like that. But guys, if you look at the Vegas odds on DK Sportsbook, he's 40-1, and he's like the 25th price golfer. So I think there's some value from a DFS standpoint. Maybe not, we might be late as far as betting him outright at 40-1. But I think there's a lot of value DFS wise if you correlate the two on Keegan Bradley this week. So I really like him. Garrick Higo is the guy that won a couple weeks ago at Palmetto, missed the cut last week at the U.S. Open. Not sure what to do with him. I want to wait and see what you guys think about the young guy there. I don't know that I want to play him even this week, but I want to see what you guys think. Skip a couple down. I like Sam Burns, and this might not be a popular take, but he's got the ability. He's a good golfer. He's only missed 2 cuts since the Players, or I'm sorry, he missed the cut. Or did he withdraw? No, he withdrew a couple weeks ago and then missed the cut last week. So he's coming in kind of not in the greatest form. So I think that could keep his his ownership down a little bit. But Sam Burns is a good quality golfer, and I'm going to be in on him a little bit. Molinari played good last week, but similar to, up above with Wolf, I just need to see more consistency and more play, more top finishes on Molinari. He hasn't played a lot over here in the States. I think he's played maybe 3 times since March. So don't think I'll be in on him. Cameron Tringali, before I get to Tringali, Doc Redman is one of my favorite plays in this range. I think he brings great value. He's been in a lot better form, 4 straight cuts at this price tag. I really like Doc Redman. Finished T2 a couple weeks ago. So I think he's, again, coming in and starting to play a lot better golf here for us for the summer to be able to utilize him a little bit more like we did last year. Cameron Tringali, I like him a lot as well. Doesn't have the greatest course history here, which is interesting because I feel like his game and how he plays should translate pretty good to this course, but it just hasn't. So not 100% in on Tringali yet, but I do like him. Clearly out on Kevin Na, Jason Day, and also Harold Varner. So that'll be the 7,500 and up range for me.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle T, Sam Burns, not a bad play at all. I mean, man, I'm with you on him.
Well, and he let people down, right? I think people just do that so often. Even some of my friends that don't follow it like we do, but that they'll message me for who I like here and there, and they're like, oh well, he withdrew last week. Well, golf is so it's so up, and you can't do that. You can't play. I don't think anyway. You can't play DFS golf like that. You can't have a 1 week or a 2 week recency bias against guys. Now, if they're in bad form for over a 4 or 5 week period, that's different. But for me, I don't have any problem going back to Sam Burns.
Yeah, 100%. Hoop, what are you doing with the 7K range?
Yeah, so I mean, starting at the top with Higo, I mean, I know Uncle T wanted to get our take. I'm on Higo. I just think he's a good, solid golfer. I think didn't he just accepted his card, right? His tour card. Like he's gonna be focused here. Had the wind. When I did play him last week, probably a mistake in hindsight. He missed the cut, but it wasn't a brutal. Well, I guess he was 6 over. Yeah, he missed the cut by a little bit. Probably shouldn't have played him last week, but I think he has a future here. I want to be ahead of the curve on him. I think Keegan Bradley, a great play. Been playing a ton of Keegan. Going to give him the free pass for that missed cut at the Memorial. I mean, he had been phenomenal. It's going to happen. Not sure why this popped in my head, but Rory again gets close to the lead on the back nine, pisses down his leg. He gets the free pass. It is just crazy to me how he just continues to get the free pass for sucking. Like gets close to the lead at these majors, falls apart.
Rory.
If he's not in contention, he'll
so
fire
true.
a good, isn't it? And then if he's not
That's
in
so
contention
true.
in the final round of a major, he'll fire a big round to improve his standing a little bit. He is such a fraud. They said he hasn't won a major in like 7 or 8 years, right?
No, he's won one since then.
Has he?
Oh, Rory. No, it's been a while for Rory.
Yeah, I thought they
3
said
years.
I thought they said 7 years. He
Yeah.
hasn't won a major in 7 years. You can look it up, but
I'll look it up while you're talking. Yeah.
yeah, one of the bigger frauds on tour for sure, and just like gets the free pass because for some reason the media likes him. Just popped in my head. But Keegan, yeah, I like Keegan. Sammy Burns, I agree with you guys. I think he will have pretty low ownership because of the points that Uncle T made. Like he's burned people. He miscuts, withdraws. He's a talented guy, and he really is. And I don't think it's going to take a lot to get over the field on him. Tringali, he's my boy. And he had some really bad blow-up holes. What was it? The stretch of the PGA Championship where he's like 10 overs through during a 3-hole stretch, whatever that was. Had a bad final round or a bad hole at the Wells Fargo where he missed the cut too. I'm going to give him the pass. I just think he's better. 7-6. I'm in on him. Agree with Uncle T on Doc Redman. I've been playing Doc Redman, and he's a guy that just he has a lot of potential. And finally starting to golf a little bit better. We got that second at the Palmetto. Harold Varner can literally. I mean, he can F off. I'm not going to say the word anymore. I said it with Fee now. Harold Varner is a fraud. Okay, and I got sucked in. What was that? At the Palmetto when he was popular and everyone was on him. He just went to my never again list. I mean, what is he going to do to hurt me? Like if he makes a cut, usually it's 45, 50th place, like whatever. He'll pop up a couple times a year and contend. Typically, pisses down his leg. Like I'm just done playing this guy. I don't care. Jason Day, I'm surprised to see him here in the field. I mean, I've been fading him for a while. I'm going to continue to do so. You want me to continue on in this 7K range?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll go all the way down. I know Uncle T cut it off at 7.5. I'll continue down. All right. My next play is in the 7.3K range. All right. I'm not playing these 7.5 guys. I'm not playing the 7.4 guys. I'm coming to the 7.3 range, and I'm about to do something on this show that I don't think I've ever done before in the
I'm
past.
glad you're doing it before me because I'm going to the same place you are.
I'm doing it, boys. I'm doing it. I am doing it.
Is it baby
power,
girl
baby.
dad narrative? All right.
Flower
I got to get on him then. If Hoop's
Flower
on him, I got to
power.
get on him.
I'm doing it too.
I have not done it in a long time. Okay, we've seen a couple solid events in a row. He's good at the PGA Championship, good at the Memorial. Has he got the baby narrative? He announced that him and his wife are having a baby. You got the pictures, the baby bump pictures. Got his hand on the belly. I'm buying back in. I mean, and it's not like we're paying the premium to get back in either. I mean, we're at the floor, 7.3.
The price is so good.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
if you look over the line, I mean, I don't look a ton at long-term stuff, but the success he's had in the past, you have to imagine he's just better than what he's done over the course of the last year and a half. We've given him a lot of shit. I've given him a lot of shit because when you go to click on his name in DFS, you were paying 9K range, you're paying 8K range, even when he was struggling. Now he's 7.3. couple solid events, got the baby narrative, which
he's
I'm not
a Pete Dye
narrative
guy too.
Pete
He won the
Dye,
Players.
and the success he's had the last couple weeks, it's the way that we typically have seen him have success. He's good with his irons. He's making these putts again. I'm going to buy in. And at 7-3, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and we put him back on that fade list. But this week, I'm giving him a shot, and this is opportunity to like buy low. Like you're buying at the basement. Okay, you don't want to hop back in on Ricky Flower when he's 8.9K somewhere, 9K. You're literally paying 7-3, and I'm gonna do it this week. We'll see what happens. Stuart Sink, I also like. I like a lot of 7-3 guys, so that's going to be a problem. Stewie Sink, Chris Kirky. I'm going to look up Kirky again at 7-3. I mean, he's treated us well. Had a couple missed cuts there, but 26 at the Memorial. Griot as well. Griot is a guy that for me, I think of Pete Dye. I don't know if he is good at Pete Dye, but it just seems like his game would be good at Pete Dye courses. So the 7-3 range is pretty loaded for me. I'm going to be on this Guido guy, Guido Migliozzi, I believe is his name. Been playing really well in the Euro Tour, and we I always give these guys crap that come from the Euro Tour because typically they're not that good when they come here. Dude shows up to the U.S. Open and posts a T4. All right, that's about as good as it gets. And he fired a 68 on in that round 4 when a lot of guys were struggling. I'm going to give this guy a look at 7-2. Good in the Euro Tour, came over, played at the most prestigious event over here and got a top 4. I definitely want some exposure to him. Not much. Last guy I'm going to mention, two guys. Patty Perez, been treating us really well, making cuts. He was 10th at the Palmetto. We were on him. I'm going to go back to Patty Perez and our boy Kyle Stanley as well at 7K flat, and Taylor Gooch. Really, man, this range is
you gonna leave any guys for me? Jeez.
Well, I'm gonna have to make some cuts. I just rattled off like 20 dudes, so there's gonna have to be some cuts made.
Here's the thing, guys. The 6K range is about as bad as I've ever seen. It is an absolute disaster. So we can spend more time in this range. And Uncle T, let me kick it back to you because you stopped at 7.5. So talk to us about the 7.5 to 7K range. I mean, I think there's a lot of very, very good value plays in this range.
Yeah, I'll circle back, and I wasn't giving Hoop a hard time, but he was literally naming almost every single guy got check marked. So that's a good sign from that.
Yeah, he missed my boy Chesson Hadley, which you should not.
I didn't have him on.
No, you can't play him this week.
I didn't even mention. I actually have your boy Ches written down too.
Ches Reavy,
I didn't mention it. He's on my list.
He won here, dude. He's gonna post a top 10. I'm telling you, he's a good play.
Ches and Chesson, I was not on either one, so I'll let you guys play those two guys. But I'll let you guys play those. I just got too many. Again, starting with Ricky Fowler, for the reason you guys mentioned, it's we feel like we're trying to buy in, maybe 12, 13%, which is no problem. Again, missed the U.S. Open because he didn't qualify, similar to Keegan Bradley. Coming in pretty good form. He's rested. Again, got all the positive vibes going. Hasn't played here, which is interesting. At least, again, last 5 years he hasn't played here. So, again, those are always interesting to me because I always feel like, that they don't play here because it's not a good course fit. But, again, Fowler, I really like him this week. Emiliano Grillo, you guys talked about it. This guy is an elite ball striker from tee to green. He just cannot putt. So, I know I've said it on this show numerous times over the last year. If he could ever put 4 rounds together on the greens where he just putts to a 0, so if you guys that follow all the strokes gained and all that, if he just putts to a 0 and with his ball striking, he's going to get a top 10 or top 15, if not sneak in and get him a win. So I know that's a lot of ifs, but what I'm getting at is if he could just have an average week to get to 0 on the putting greens, I think Grillo can definitely compete here this week. Stewie Sink, he's won here twice. It's been a while, but he's, his game's been in a lot better form the last, 3-4 months, been playing some solid golf. You still got a good price tag, $7,300 on him. I don't mind Kirky, but I don't have him listed here. But clearly Kirk's in play most weeks. He just hasn't been in great form the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I'll kind of maybe let others possibly play him as well. Brendan Steele, he's played this course pretty well as well. I don't think Hoop mentioned Brendan Steele, but, I kind of like him this week. If he can get the ball in the fairway, he's long off the tee. If he can hit some fairways, I think he sets up nicely for this course. Mackenzie Hughes, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back. 7,100, he shared the 54-hole lead. Obviously, last week shot, I believe, 76 or 77 on the week or on Sunday, and fell back a little bit. Still finished T15. Can he carry that momentum into this week? Or will, his bubble be burst a little bit by how he, played poorly on Sunday? So that could go one of two ways for Mackenzie Hughes. I've got two guys down below you both mentioned, Hoop mentioned them, Taylor Gooch and Kyle Stanley. Like both of those plays. I'm always a Gooch guy. He always is in that $71, $72, $7,300 range. And I feel like, again, he's one of those guys that can get hot. And I like him quite a bit this week. So quite a lot to like in this range for me.
Yeah, so 7K range, I'll just go through. I agree with you guys quite a bit on a lot of this. Let me talk about one guy who, if I had a scramble team, I'd want this guy on my team, and then I'd want a guy that could get off the tee. But the guy I'm talking about, Doc Redman, if this dude could get off the tee, he would win a lot of golf tournaments. He just struggles off the tee. And luckily enough, we have wider fairways this week. I think he's going to be able to get off the tee. We saw him finish second at the Palmetto, and, wider fairways there, obviously no rough at that track. And I think, that being a second shot track and this being kind of what I would call like a hybrid second shot track where you could bomb it. We've seen bombers do very well, Bubba Watson, and we've seen the short hitters do well. I think it's like the perfect combination for a guy like Doc Redman. I'm going to be very high on him. Approach game's good. Around the green's good. He just needs to get off the tee and not make stupid mistakes. His putter looks phenomenal right now. Everyone says that he's just an absolute stick, an absolute stud too. I think he's going to get a win here soon. He's going to join Sammy Burns, our other guy, in the winner's circle. I mean, it could come this week. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it did. So I'm very high on Doc Redman this week. And honestly, I think he's going to fall in that like 5 to 7% range because the 7K range is so stacked. So we could get nice leverage on him. Keegan Bradley, obviously, I don't need to say anything about him. I'm going to be very, very high on him. Sam Burns, I agree with both of you guys on him. Stuart Sink. Like, I would rather play Stuart Sink than like head-to-head. If I had to take one guy, I think I'm taking him over Charlie Hoffman. So I'll take Sink plus the savings. Sink has 2 wins on the year. What does Charlie Hoffman have? Like, he doesn't have 2 wins on the year. I mean, I think the pricing is crazy on a guy like him this week. Just going down here, Ricky Fowler. I mean, if both of you guys are on him, I guess I'm gonna, it has to be all or nothing.
We got to do this together, bro.
Hey,
it's not
all I gotta say, our guy Coop. He was the cover boy of his article this week.
Is he on him?
Play. Yeah. He's heavy on him.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So Snyder's going to fade him. I already know that. But you guys make a lot of good points about him this week. I was just joking in Discord. We were just starting the playbook. And so it was basically blank in the fade section. I put Ricky Flower and said we're almost done with the playbook. But anyways, Brendan Steele, I think, is interesting. I think he's like a poor man's Kevin Streelman. So if you think of Kevin Streelman, if you're not playing him, I would play a guy like Brendan Steele plus the savings. They're very similar games. I could see them like finish very similarly, like top 20. And but Steele, you're obviously getting a massive savings. Obviously not in the same form that Kevin Streelman's in, but he was a guy up until last week. He hadn't missed a cut. So there's that. Just going down here, I think I missed a bunch of guys. One guy you guys didn't mention, Brendan Todd. So Brendan Todd was live to win this thing last year. He was right there until he got blown away by DJ. He had one hole I remember watching where he just messed up, where he like literally full on like fluffed a chip and then like fluffed a putt and then hit a putt too far. And then like he made like a double or a triple on one hole and it just completely derailed him. But the course sets up well for him. So I don't mind him. And you're right. Chris Kirky, Grillo, Flower, Sink, all those guys in play. Steele, Guido, not playing Hadley, Kazire, you can make a case for. I'm not going to play Ortiz. I like the kid. You got to pick and choose your spots for him. I feel like he's a guy that's going to get in trouble at this place. Driving in spots where you shouldn't. So I'll be off him. And then we got Pat Perez. We got Ches Reavie. I love Ches this week. He's won here, obviously, and his game is trending in the right direction. He's a guy that should have all the momentum in the world coming to this event. And then Kyle Stanley, a guy that I don't think was mentioned, that I'm going to have a little bit of exposure to. He's made 4 straight cuts here. It's a ball striker, second shot course. His off the green game or off the tee game is very good. Proximity is another thing I'm looking at. So, approach to the green, how close he's getting to the hole. It's something he's been very good at. He just sucks at putting. So if you think of that, Keegan sucks at putting. Kyle Stanley sucks at putting. We're really leaning on these tee to green game from these guys. So those are a few guys that I like. But I got to say, Doc Redman is probably my favorite. And I think my second favorite is going to be, Ches Reavie for sure. So Doc Redman, Ches Reavie for me. Uncle T, what was your 1 and 2 in this range?
Yeah, up in the higher 7K, I like Bradley and Doc up top. And then if you wanted to break it down to the bottom half of the range, I do like Fowler and I do like Stanley as well. So those would be my 2 up top, 2 down below if I wanted to give a couple extra.
Whew, Flower in your top 2. Okay, Uncle T. Remember how much fun you made of me?
Strong take.
I got shit for weeks for getting on this guy, and now here's Uncle T. He's all in on Ricky Flower. Here we go. Oh man, I can already feel the tilt.
If it doesn't work out, you can serve it to us because we did give you shit after the Flower call.
Oh,
we'll see.
Might have to
Guess what?
Oh man.
Guess what?
What's your 1 and 2 hoop, and then take us into the 6K range, which sucks. We're not going to spend much time on the 6K range at all. It's terrible.
What did you say, Uncle T? I don't want to give the exact.
What's that?
What was your 1 and 2 here?
Oh, up top I had Bradley and Redmond, but down below, yeah. So it depends on
how the same guy. I was going to say Doc Flower. So me and Uncle T are on the exact same dudes this week. So it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad.
I should take Brendan Todd straight up against Flower against you guys.
6K range, it gets a little dicey, and I like so many guys in the 7K range. I don't know how often I'm going to be down here. We got our boy Werenski. Werenski just has not been treating me well. He was my boy for a while. I gave him a second chance after he hurt our feelings a little bit. Can't do Werenski anymore, unfortunately. It's painful. But a guy in the 6'9" range, or at the 6'9" price tag that I do like is this Lipsky guy, David Lipsky. We kind of talked about him at the Palmetto. Played well. Finished 8th there. Solid all around. 71, 70, and then turned it on the weekend, 67, 67. I do like him. Our boy Patrick Rogers as well. AP has talked about him a lot over the course of this, since we started doing these shows. 6'9".
Wait. Kind of like. Who are we talking about?
Patrick Rogers. I played him last week. He was solid last week at the U.S. Open. Made the cut, got us to 31st.
You mean Huge Rod? Patrick
Huge Rod. Yes. Yes. I'm in on him. Another guy, Troy Merritt, was playing well for a while. Last 2 events tougher though. Tougher fields. Memorial, he finished 50th. U.S. Open, he did make the cut, 65th. I might look him up here at 6.8K. Our boy Chase Seaford is 6.7K. Did make the cut at the Palmetto, finished 35th. Nick Taylor, 6.6K. Guy I just play. I think every time he tees it up, I play Wyndham Clark. I'll probably do it again this week at 6.6K. Who's the dude? This Kodaira. Really, really solid form recently. 11th at the Wells Fargo, 13th at the AT&T, and then 19th at the Palmetto. He's only 6.5K. I mean, some of the best form here in this field. I think he's in play a little bit. And then a guy I'm going back to burned us 1 week at the Palmetto, but Mr. Vincent Whaley is only 6.4K. Now, I know we've talked about these, what if scenarios quite a bit. Just imagine if Whaley makes a cut and finishes 30th at the Palmetto. That would be his, 10th straight made cut, a bunch in the top 20, 30. He'd probably be like 7.2K or something this week.
6,600 he would be.
Oh, you're out of your mind. If 10 straight cuts with a bunch of top 20s and 30s, he'd be up there. He'd probably be in like the mid sevens. Can you forgive him for that missed cut? I think I can. Can he get back on track? I also think he can. So at 6'4", I'm playing Whaley again this week.
So I will say, with how dusty this range is, I do have a good notebook play. He's a guy that he's treated us very well not too long ago. So I think you guys might be surprised. But Uncle T, what are you doing with this 6K range?
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of guys actually highlighted here, but I'm only going to narrow it down between now and tomorrow night to probably 2 or 3 guys. But I've got actually 8 or 9 guys. I'm not going to really give a full description of each one of them because a couple of them are the guys Hoop mentioned. But Keith Mitchell, 6,900, he's pretty good off the tee. It's about all I'm going to give him here, but he does hit the ball well off the tee. So 6,900. You mentioned Patrick Rogers. Then I go down to Scott Stallings. He's a guy that we've played quite a bit. Missed the cut the last time out, but he's done pretty well for us. And at that price tag, I kind of like him. I like the Troy Merritt call. Ryan Armour at 6,700. I kind of like him a little bit. Finished T8th at the Palmetto. Played some really good golf. Hudson Swafford, $6,700. I got a little bit of interest in him. Go down a little bit further. Vaughn Taylor, 6,600. I like him a little bit. I love the Kadira call at 6,500. Hoop. As much as I'll give you a shit about the Whaley call, I do like Kadira. The only other guy I really like that I got earmarked that I'm probably going to be in on is my 2 or 3 guys in this range. I kind of like Enerban Lahiri. And he's a guy that nobody likes to play a lot. He doesn't play a ton over in the States, but he's got pretty good course history.
Because he sucks.
No, he's got good
because he sucks, Uncle T.
Oh, hey, slide on in. He's got 2 top 25s in the last 5 outings.
I will slide on in. I'll take my notebook play.
I'll take Lahiri and Whaley. He's right next to him.
I'm not playing Whaley. No, I want my notebook play.
Before AP rudely interrupted, he didn't let me finish. So I'm not in on Whaley.
Uncle T, come on. Always next week. Lahiri, come on, Uncle T.
Hey, you got to take a stab on a few of these guys. So, and then the interesting thing is, guys, so the 2 amateurs that turned pro, obviously, and John Pock that let us down, and Davis Thompson, they're both down there at 64 and 6,300. I'm not in on either one this week, but I'll be anxious to see if you guys have any take on the 2 young guys down there just because of the price.
I will say Lahiri's a good putter. That's kind of what he's known for.
I thought you were going to say punter.
No, he's got a good putter, but that's a dusty play. But,
it's not. I don't have my eyes open when I click the button.
I mean, it's golf. Anything can happen. So I think the best play in the 6K range is this David Lipsky. So Hoop mentioned him. He's a 7'4", 7'5" type of guy. Saw it at the Palmetto. You could just see it at the Korn Ferry Tour. This dude's super consistent, very good tee to green, very good on approach. He's not long, but he's going to be right there. I think this second shot type of course, if you want to treat it like that, I think you can bomb away, or you can treat it like a second shot course. I think it's going to fit him really nicely this week. So I like him quite a bit. Patrick Rogers, actually, I didn't have him start. I'm glad you guys said something, or Hoop said something. T3 here in 2016. And he missed the cut last year, but outside of that, he made a ton of cuts here. So, and he's playing fine. He's T31 at the U.S. Open. He's another guy. I'm really up on my stock on him. He's another guy. T31 at the U.S. Open. That's probably one of his better finishes. So he's got to treat that as like coming into this event feeling pretty good about his game. Even though I do know he was one of those guys that was higher up on the leaderboard. Did he have a rough day 4? I mean, he wasn't a guy they were giving coverage to, but had to be like a rough day 4. And then going down here, I'm going to skip that guy. Wyndham Clark, I agree with you guys. I really don't like this range. I think it's really tough. But let me go into the notebook play. This is a guy that treated us very well during COVID, during those times with limited fans. Actually, Uncle T, you mentioned him.
Uh-oh.
My boy, Ryan Armour.
Yes, sir.
Ryan Armour is a poor man's Chez Reavie. Very same style of game. Little guys, not long off the tee, but T8 at Palmetto, T26 at the Byron Nelson, and he finished T6 here last year. He's actually gotten better each year he's played here, outside of his 2 missed cuts in 15 and 17. But he's made 3 cuts in a row. It's a dusty range, guys. It is. But Ryan Armour, a guy that's treated us well in the past. I haven't played him in forever. I'm going to be on him this week, though. I don't like this range. I'll probably be higher on Lipsky. I think Lipsky is a better golfer, but I'm going to have some Ryan Armour, and I'm going to make him. I mean, I can't make Lipsky like. I mean, I guess I could make him the notebook play, but I want to go with Armour, who's going to be like, what, 2 to 3% owned. I mean, he's going to be very, very low owned.
Yep.
So yeah. Those are my 2 favorite guys in this range. Uncle T, what was your 1 and 2 in this range?
Oh boy, 1 and 2. Let's go with. I know Lahiri will definitely be in there since I can come on the show. Well, it won't be next week because I won't be here, but I'll come on the following week and take a victory lap on Lahiri. He'll at least make the cut.
Is there a major?
Against Chez Reavie?
Is there a major?
No, I'll be on vacation next week with the family.
Vacation?
So I'll be out next week. Yeah, Uncle T's gets his first RPS vacation since I started last week. You guys are too nice to me.
most overworked guy in the industry by far.
Did you approve that through HR? Yeah.
I was still waiting to get word back, but I'm hoping that it gets approved. So
you might have to
that
cancel
through HR first.
Yeah, but I'm gonna guys. I like the Patrick Rogers call. So I like Rogers as my number 1, and I'll go Lahiri as my number 2. But
Lahiri's your number 2?
Just because I want to troll you.
Oh, Uncle T. Oh my gosh, that's so dusty. Oh man. Hoop, 1 and 2.
Going back to my boy Vince Whaley and Kadira. I like Kadira. Another guy I did want to mention, Ryan Moore too. Ryan Moore at 6.8K. Just kind of.
All right, Hoop, I got one question for you because you usually have a good read on this guy, but he's made 2 cuts in a row, and he has good course history here. Vaughn Taylor, I mean, is he a guy you're looking at?
I mentioned him.
You mentioned everyone in this range.
No, I did.
You mentioned like 14 guys.
No,
I'm gonna
Uncle T's going Bryson.
I'm gonna call you Bobby Gomes. I'm gonna call you
guys.
Uncle Gomes, man. Mention every guy in the range.
Uncle Gomes.
That hurt.
Just kidding.
Taylor. I'll look at him a little bit more. I mean, I don't mind him at 6'6". I like Nick Taylor 6'6" too. I like him. I mean, I don't mind Taylor.
Yeah, actually, Bobby Gomes has done a good job at tightening up at his pool and making stands. So I don't want to troll him too hard. All right, guys, let's go on to our winners and let's get this thing closed out. Uncle T, I'm going to start with you. Pick your 2 winners this week.
Yeah, up top, I'd like to go with that 10K range as it could come out of that 10K range, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with somebody that has been close here before. He's in good form, and I don't know that I've picked him at all since we've been doing these shows. I'm going to go Paul Casey. I just feel like I don't typically like to play him in Birdie Fest, and I'm not saying this is going to be really a Birdie Fest, but I do think you'll need to go kind of low, but I think Casey's playing some really good golf. So I'll go with Casey at, I think I got him here 18 to 1. I'll take him up top. And then how far down do we have to go? I can't remember. Do we go a middle and then a bottom or just?
Well, no, just 2.
Okay.
Whoever you're feeling.
Yeah, then I'll go down to Keegan Bradley. I think Keegan Bradley, he's only 40 to 1. If it wasn't Keegan, I was going to go with Doc Redmond. But so we'll go Keegan Bradley down below, and we'll go Paul Casey up top.
Okay, I like that. Hoop, what about you?
I got two guys. I'm not really going to go to the top. I'm gonna come down a little bit. First guy, Harris English. I think Harris English has a good chance this week. Played really well last week at the U.S. Open, and I mean, there's just no other guy that I can pick in the lower range. I mean, it's just meant to be. It's flower power, baby. Flower power is going to win it for us this week.
There you go.
I almost just
Wow.
picked one. I mean, Ricky Flowers getting it done.
Wow. What's his hold on, let me look this up.
He's like probably 80 or 90 to 1 or something.
He's 50, he's
66
50
on
to
DK.
1.
What? Oh, that's a terrible
66 on
price.
DK.
Maybe I got to reconsider that.
50 to 1?
50,
seeing
he's 55 to 1. I thought he'd be longer than that. I'll stick with it.
No, relative to his price, that is phenomenal. Matt Wolf is 45 to 1.
No, so good probably better for DFS than
For
a
DFS,
sports
yep.
bet. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, good for both technically. Well, I mean, then I get what you're saying. Yeah, and actually that's a good point. So for me, like Matt Wolf, 45 to 1, obviously DraftKings priced him way up. And so I do think there's some value in his betting price there. And, you know, not to be kind of like, there are some longer shots I like, but so I got to take Matt Wolf, and I'm probably going to double down next week. So like what I'm going to do is just like, no matter what, commit to him for the next 2 weeks, because obviously next week fits him a little bit better up in Detroit. That's where the tournament's at. I think chat was saying, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there on I think we're gonna go on Thursday. I'm gonna go check it out.
But oh, nice. Yeah, where's he at? So Abe Answer, 33 to 1, right there with Kevin Streelman, and like Brian, like his odds are worse than Brian Harman. So I think Abe Answer is definitely going to be an outright that I get some money on. And so it's for me, it's Abe Answer and it's Matt Wolf. Those are my two guys this week. Uncle T, any final thoughts this week?
No, I think, like I said, I think we can definitely get in there and win some money this week. It's going to be probably a high variance, maybe 42, 43, 44% will make the cut this week. So hoping to get some 6 of 6 through. Next week, we got the Rocket Mortgage. Bryson is the defending champ at the Rocket Mortgage. So maybe Hoop can watch him on Thursday when he goes and watches that. But yeah, I'll be out next week, and I'll be back with you guys for the John Deere the following week, and that'll be a week before the last major, the Open.
What is there 156 guys this week?
Yeah, 156. Okay. Yep.
Hoop, you want to get me an extra ticket, and I'll come up and we'll go to Rocket
Joe,
Mortgage?
come on.
Dude,
Let's go.
That'd be a ton of fun.
Come check it out.
Didn't invite me up last weekend. I'm still hurt.
Oh,
like
I said, the residents here always, it's an open door policy for Uncle T. If Uncle T shows up, we'll take care of you.
I owe you lunch still.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Actually, Mrs. Hoop will take care of you. She'll get you all lined up in the spare bedroom. You'll love it.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Hoop, final thoughts this week. How are you approaching this week after a major?
Yeah, I mean, I like the field. I mean, I really like the field, actually. I mean, it's not too top heavy, but we still have some of the top golfers. There's some dudes in the mid tier. Like I said, I really think the tough decisions are going to be made in that 9K range. I mean, who do you play? Who do you fade there? I think that really will dictate things this week. But it's a solid field. Definitely looking forward to it here.
Yeah, and you know, for me, guys, it's going to be an MME week for me only. I'm looking at that $8 100K, and honestly, I'm going to get a little different. Like I'm going to go kind of like I did last week. Homo ended up not being the right play, but I stand by the strategy there. I'm going to do something similar, maybe not 70% because this field is loaded, but I do want to make sure I'm planting flags. And you know, I do think now is the time to start getting on guys like Bryson, like Matt Wolf. I might be a week early. I definitely could be, but I'm going to be a week early, and I'm going to commit to doing it this week and next week. And so that's going to be kind of my strategy. And then I'm going to mix and match. And my value plays, I think, are going to be the Ryan Armour, the Ches Reavie types to mix and match with some of these bombers. So that's kind of how I'm playing it this week. It's going to be a ton of fun. Again, if you haven't yet, I don't even think we asked at all during this entire show. Producer Simon is going to yell at me, but hit that like button hit that subscribe button. It helps us to keep this free for you each and every week. We do have a promo code going on right now. I believe it's still Euros 21 or 25. Is that right, Hoop? Euros 25?
Yeah, Euros 25 or RPS Heater 25, both the same thing, gets you 25% off your first payment of a monthly package at Run Pure Sport. So Euros 25 or RPS Heater 25.
Yeah. Yep. Again, we have the bet show coming up with Uncle T, Snyder, JJ. Who's on that show? Uncle T?
Mangone, Snyder, Bobby, JJ, and myself will be going on here probably maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So definitely catch it.
Okay. I'm showing like 2 minutes. And then we got the soccer show tomorrow morning too, with Rubio, Dimes. We got Jaime and who else on that show? We get K Fallick on that show too. Okay, yeah, Big T, K Fallick, Jaime, and Rubio Dimes on the soccer show tomorrow. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we'll find the winners. Let's leave with that, guys. It's going to be a fun week. I'm going to be, we're going to all be dialed in. All the content will be up tomorrow. Playbook, cash chart, core plays, everything, Discord. With that, I'm AP, Uncle T, and Hoop. Let's all run Pier.